What is going on, guys? What a long week it's been. The script for the final series is almost done. This is going to be an awesome weekend where we're going to be filming the big show that I hope you guys really enjoy. It could be shit, it could be great. Who cares? It's going to be fun nonetheless. And considering I needed a huge break after travelling around the country, I had a big office day today, typing a ton of emails. I thought I want to play some WoW for an hour before I carry on writing the episodes. And if I'm going to play some WoW, Preacher thinks to himself, why not record that sumbitch and throw that out to you ballers out there who want to see that stuff? So I figured, which class should I play? I promised the Enhancement Shaman. Wasn't thinking that, so I thought today, you know what? I'm going to go with the Ret Paladin. Why the hell not? I like to melee DPS, and my Ret Paladin is the only one left to do, really, besides the Chamois. And plus, he's got a slightly better gear, so it might make a slightly more fun video for you guys. Oh, yeah! Absolutely love it. Ret Paladin, guys. This is Preach with a wonky A, I believe he's got. Yeah, wonky A. And what is he all about? He's all about popping some big-ass wings. Yeah! Oh, and then he goes ahead and bubbles. Oh, yeah! Wing, 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 wing. Got to use the usual story. Going to talk about your talents. Going to talk about your glyphs. Going to talk about the spells you should be casting. I'm going to talk about this wonderful thing you see here, which you will need as a Ret Paladin, unfortunately. So, yeah. Let's jump into the good jazz. What is about the Ret Paladin that is different from the other melee classes, and why, Preach, did you make us wait so damn long for it? Ret Paladins are kind of awkward and clunky. Long-time Ret Paladin fans out there right now will go, no, Preach, you lie, it's dead easy. Of course it's easy. It's still World of Warcraft, but they are certainly a little bit clunky. Anyone who denies that is living in a bit of a dream world compared to the rest of the melee classes. Ret Paladins certainly are a bit clunky. When I say clunky, we have a lot of damaging spells, around about 7 of them. All have slightly different priorities. On top of that, we need to keep a buff on ourselves called Inquisition, and that uses our combo points. So we've got combo points, we've got a ton of damage spells, and we've got buffs we need to keep on ourselves. You compare that to all the other melee classes, Ret Paladins, my friends, are clunky. They need reworking, in my opinion. They need some loving. They need a little bit of extra care, especially considering their rotation changes entirely when they're AoEing and all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to talk about all of that today. It's going to be a slightly longer intro. It's going to be a slightly longer first part. Bear with me. I'll try and make it as entertaining as possible while we talk about our big Ret Paladin. Okay, let's jump into the good stuff. This is Preach, champion of the Naru, and holler out there to any of the ballers who got that when you originally had to get it, not when the content was nerfed. If you went through the trials and tribulations of getting the champion of the Naru title, you, my friends, are gods. Gods among men. It's a brilliant title to get. And you had to work your balls off for it. Item level 360, not too bad. As this guy is a tank, you will have no doubt noticed. He was a big tank. He's picked up some nice ret gear on the way, because generally we tend to be the only plate class in there, and if anybody doesn't want any gear, Preacher's going to go ahead and roll on it, so his gear's not actually too bad, which makes it a little bit more fun, I find. What are our stats, Preacher? What do we need as a Ret Paladin to really own faces? What we're going to do to throw them, as Towley would say, hammer a fuck your faces right into your smasher. We need strength. We need to be Hulkamania. We need to be, what's his name? Mark Ruffalo, coming up in the Avengers. Can't wait. We need to be Hulkamaniacs, baby, running wild up in this place. We need strength. We need to be gemming strength everywhere. If your set bonus in your item for your gems is not 20 strength or more, you will gem pure strength. Anybody doing something different is doing it wrong. Tell them, you are doing it wrong, my friends. We need strength. So it's got a 10 strength bonus. The newbie guys among you, and especially if you're fresh to the game, think, well, strength's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and pick up the set bonus, which in this item happens to be a blue socket. In the world of Ret Paladins, that means you would have picked up a 20 strength, 20 hit gem. No, we want more strength. Strength is so overwhelmingly powerful for our class. The more strength you have, the better. It's all good, baby. It is all good. We want strength. So we want strength coming out of our ass. We obviously can't reforge for strength, so we're going to gem as much strength as humanly possible. In fact, going through my items, you'll see strength, 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 strength. The only other gem I have in this entire character is the Meta gem for our helmets, because the bonus is 30 strength, so gemming pure strength and 40 strength will have just been a 10 strength loss. We don't want losses. No, no, no. Get your strength up, guys. Then comes our reforging. What are our priorities? A little bit wonky with the old Ret Paladin. I'll tell you what I personally think is better, and then you guys can go ahead and leave comments disagreeing with me entirely, saying, Preach, you scrub. I absolutely hate you. I've been playing Ret Paladin since the dawn of time, and you are wrong. This is how I personally feel, and you guys might agree with me, you might disagree with me, but to be honest, the DPS difference is marginal, so it doesn't matter if you disagree with me. I don't care, because the DPS difference just isn't that important. Mainly, your main number one stats, as usual with the melee DPS classes, are your hits and your expertise. Okay, looking down at your melee tree, you want to get about 8% hit. You can see I've rocked a whopping 7.92, so sue me at the 0.08 chance to miss, whatever. And you want 26 expertise. As always, that is for raid bosses. In heroics, you will be overcapped, but I assume you guys will be rocking into sort of Baradin Hold and all that good stuff, and picking up maybe some pugs, and you don't want to get in there, start missing, and go, preach, you bastard! You told me to get this amount of hit, and now I'm missing. So go ahead and get yourself the 8% hit and that 26 expertise. As you can see, I am very, very close. If you are as under as I am, which is 0.08 chance to hit and 0.25% chance to be parried and dodged with your expertise, it doesn't matter that much, guys, okay? That is as close to the cap as you want to get without overcapping. When you overcap things like hit and expertise with a two-handed melee class, you are wasting stats, and we don't like wasted DPS stats, do we? No, because we want as much damage as we can get. Yummy. Then what comes next? Mastery. You want mastery through the teeth. Mastery is awesome. What does your mastery do, Preacher says? I can hear you crying out loud. What does mastery do? The Hand of Light. I love Paladin names. Oh, so good. Hand of Light. Your Templar's Verdict, Crusader Strike, and Divine Storm deal extra damage as holy damage. Every point of mastery buffs that damage. Good. Okay, so we get more damage from our mastery. Mastery is cool. We like mastery. Go away, talents. We're not there yet. We like mastery. As this guy had some gear and wasn't a freshly leveled level 85, I had some awkward choices to make, which you guys might start struggling with as you get further through the classes. So if you just hit level 85, you're basically going to be trying to get your hit and expertise up, and then picking either crit or mastery to get some mastery. Okay. Now we have things like, we're picking up items like License to Slay with a big chunk of hits on it, and you might be thinking, do I really want to reforge that hit away, Preach? Because on the face of it, I actually need all that hit. Yes, definitely. You definitely want to be doing that. What you want to start doing in your mind is making decisions that run like this. Take an item, any item, doesn't matter what slot it is. Does this item have my primary DPS stat on it, in our case mastery? If it doesn't, make sure it does. You want as much mastery as possible, okay guys? So you're looking at an item like License to Slay. Yes, hit is amazing, but could I sacrifice such things as crit and haste further in different items to get that hit back if I turn that hit into mastery? That's what you're thinking in your mind, guys. That's how we work at a top end level. When I take my Death Knight in his 390 gear or whatever it is, I look at an item and I need haste. I look at an item and say, has that got haste on it? No. Well, haste is amazing for me. I need to make that item have haste, and I can work the rest of the items out to pull back whatever stat I sacrifice, be it hit or expertise. Alright, guys? So we're going to take items like License to Slay and our lovely Might of the Ocean. They're both just pure hit trinkets. I've turned them both into mastery, as you can see there. And then what we do is we come up to items like this. Now, we're going to talk about hit, haste, and crit. There's a bit of a debate, and people who are uber number crunchers, these total math wizards, which to me is just like Harry Potter time. I have a degree, not a degree, I have an A level. I don't know what the equivalent of that is across the pond, but I have an A level in further mathematics, in mathematics mechanics and physics and all that good stuff. I can tell you about a block rolling down an inclined plane all day. What I don't know is every single thing about Warcraft math, because it is entirely too complex for my little mind, and I personally am quite happy that other guys are doing that for me so I can read it and go, boom, so I should take haste or crit. That's all I want to know. That's all you guys should want to know. Haste works in a couple of different ways. I'm actually going to skip to a talent here to show you why. I believe it's that one. Sanctity of Battle. Haste effects lower the cooldown of your Crusader Strike and your Divine Storm. Okay. As you guys will know if you've played a Ret Paladin at all, or if you're fresh to the game and you're thinking about running Ret Paladin, look at this bar here. You see this 0 holy power bar here? 3 little lights. Watch what happens when I Crusader Strike something. Boom. Crusader Strike. We get a charge of holy power. We have these combo points called holy power. Okay, so Divine Storm does an AoE effect. Crusader Strike does a single target effect. So instantly in your mind, if we've got a lot of mobs, around 4+, we're going to start using Divine Storm to do our damage. That's still going to generate our Holy Power. Holy Power, of course, gives us the ability to use different tools when we've got 3 stacks. So if you're single target DPS, you're going to use Crusader Strike. Simple as, okay? In your mind, that's quite easy. Crusader Strike for your single target, Divine Storm for your AoE. Alright, dead easy, and that's going to generate your Holy Power. Now what we're going to move on to is, ideally, you want to be doing a Crusader Strike or a Divine Storm, another spell, and then you want to be Crusader Striking and Divine Storming again to get a nice fluid build-up of Holy Power. This is where it gets tricky, because the amount of haste you would need to actually make that happen is, you're actually trying to get the cooldown of your Crusader Strike down to about 3 seconds. That would make it nice and tidy. For the 1.5 second global cooldown we all suffer from in World of Warcraft, that would mean we could go Crusader Strike, Crusader Strike, Judgment, Crusader Strike, something else, and get up to 3 nicely. We can't do that yet. It's not possible. I think you need something like 3,500 haste to actually reach that target. But does that mean to you that you should skip haste entirely and go for crit instead? Because we can't reach that cap, Preacher. You've already just said that. You need 3,500 haste. We can't possibly get that. So should we invest in crit as well? Because we can't reach that cap. I say no. I say balls to you in your spreadsheet. There's about 4 or 5 different theories on it. I say balls to you. Why? Because I find waiting for Crusader Strike to come back off cooldown boring as shit. I hate it. Anything I can do to get that cooldown lower is so much better for me. Getting out more Templar's Verdicts, more procs, all that good stuff. I prefer it. So I'm actually going to focus haste over crit. So in this guide, what we're doing today, your stats will go strength, gem it, love it, stroke it, make it your baby. Then we're going to go mastery. Mastery, all good stuff. Then we're going to go haste over crit. Crit is going to be our worst stat and be the first stat to get rid of. Yes, we all like big, fat, dowdy crits where we're owning face. But in general, I like my play to be more interesting. I'm going to focus on haste just to get that cooldown as low as possible. It's not going to be anywhere near 3 seconds. It's not. But it's going to be less than what it would have been if I hadn't focused haste. That's what I'm going for. So on our reforging, see if I can find an item that demonstrates. Bum, bum, bum. Not that one. Not that one. It's going to take me forever now, isn't it? Do. There you go. We had an item with crit and haste on. It's our Relic of the Elemental Lords. We had an item with crit and haste. I have chosen crit. Go away, crit. I want a touch more mastery. But you can see, even though it's only 33 points of mastery, it's important just to make sure you got that mastery on every single item, as much of it as you can possibly get, and then balance it around everywhere else. Crit and mastery of tonight's a hit. Not worth talking about much there. Okay, so that's your stat priorities for your Ret Paladin. If you've got items with crit and haste on, my advice to you as a total boss is to go ahead and get rid of that crit and bust your mastery up, buff your haste up. Keep that haste as high as possible, because it's just going to make things just that much more interesting for you. And I want you to play WoW and be excited. I want you to play it. So let's talk about our glyphs real quick. We'll talk about the glyphs, then we'll get to the talents. Glyph of Templar's Verdict. Templar's Verdict is our number 1 spell we pick up when we spec it to the Ret tree. When we have 3 Holy Power, we can go ahead and use this ability, Templar's Verdict. Using it at 1 Holy Power is bad. Using it at 2 Holy Power is even worse. Using it at 3 is gravy. We want 3. 3 Holy Power, Templar's Verdict is going to hit like a truck. Glyph of Seal of Truth. This is why I've done glyphs first. This glyph is actually one of the most powerful DPS glyphs in the game for a melee class, and the rest of us would cry to get it, except my Orc Death Knight, because he rolls like a boss. Glyph of Seal of Truth. Your Seal of Truth and Seal of Righteousness grant you 10 expertise. That is like 300 expertise rating, blokes. It's amazing. It's absolutely cool as anything. You can get so many more DPS stats by having that glyph, and more DPS stats, because there's going to be no DPS stats that say give you 300 haste rating. No way, no glyphs are going to do that. But this glyph grants you that power. You lucky paladin gits. We want this glyph. And Glyph of Exorcism is slightly above the rest. Glyph of Exorcism causes an additional 20% of its damage over 6 seconds. Good stuff. The other glyphs aren't that important. I do like Glyph of the Ascetic Crusader because it gets the mana cost down. Not that we have too many mana troubles, but when we're in Heroics, we're going to be using Consecration, which costs a ton of mana. It costs so much mana that keeping this mana cost down is nice. I like Glyph of Consecration, so it increases duration, so when we are AoE and it's down for a while, I can forget about it and rebuild my mana while Glyph of Consecration is down. And Glyph of Holy Wrath, so we're stunning mobs. Just a little passive help to our tanks and our healer friends while we're rolling in those Heroics. All good stuff, okay, guys? Glyph of Seal of Truth, mana cost. We are going to be doing some seal twisting. This is another aspect of being a Ret Paladin. I'm going to talk about that shortly. A Glyph of Blessing's Might, which is generally going to be using. Go ahead and put another glyph if you want. It won't make that much of a difference. Those are the ones you want mainly, okay? Let's talk talents. We're obviously a Ret Pally. What did we get? We got Templar's Verdict. Yeah. So when did we come down? What are we going to spec into? It's actually a pretty static tree, my friends. Pretty static. Not much choice to go with here for a decent DPS spec. Let's start with Improved Judgment. Flat increase of 20 yards to your Judgment, so you can Judgment while you're running in. Good stuff. Crusade, increase the damage of your Crusader Strike, Hammer of the Righteous, Templar's Verdict. Blizzard should have known when they wrote a talent that needs a whole paragraph to explain, they've got too many spells. Just saying, okay? Just saying. So it's a nice damage buff. Eye for an eye. You have a choice on this, but I actually think it's quite cool. It's a marginal DPS increase. All magic attacks against you have a 40% chance to cause 30% of the damage taken back to the attacker as well. So if you get hit with one of these AoEs, these chain lightnings that you find in all our heroics, there's a good chance you'll do some DPS back passively. You don't need to do anything, it'll just do it for you. Yummy. Rule of law. It's like we're like space cops. I'm like a Tauren cow copper. I'm a policeman. Yeah. Cops. I should have done the bad boys theme for this video. Increase the critical effect chance of your Crusade Strike, Hammer of Righteous. Boring talent, actually, with a cool name. Boring. Just, you know, it's crit chance. But you can see how crit is almost devalued a little bit by that. Gives it a nice Crusader Strike and Hammer of the Righteous. Pursuit of Justice. You have a 100% chance to gain a charge of Holy Power when struck by a stun. Bit boring. We don't really get hit by that in PV that much. In addition, increase your movement and mounting speed by 15%. What do I always tell you guys? Rule number 1. Every melee DPSer in the world, no matter what you're doing, needs a run speed increase. It is your biggest passive DPS increase you can do ever. Why? Because you move from bad things quicker and you get to the next target faster. This talent gives us the ability to do that without wasting stats by enchanting our boots with things like Lava Walker. Just get Pursuit of Justice. Done. Forget about it. Go ahead and buff your DPS stats. Pick it up. Communion. Getting very religious on this preachy. Ooh, your auras increase the party and raids damage dealt by 3%, and your own damage is increased by an additional 2% at all times. Okay, fair enough, that's our raid buff. Your judgment causes replenishment, granting mana back, so a lot of classes have that anyway, but we are getting that passive damage buff by being a Ret Paladin in the raid. Everyone gets a nice big fat buff, and we get a 2% damage bonus on top. Art of War. Your auto attacks have a 20% chance to make your next exorcism instant cast, free and cause extra damage. We will only... Exorcism. I see people doing things like this. Pulling with Exorcism as a tank. Casting Exorcism as a Retribution Paladin. No. 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 Exorcism will only ever be used in 2 situations. 1. If you are melee DPSing a mob like normal, you will only ever use it with an Art of War proc. Ever. Don't ever use it otherwise. The only other time we will use it is if the mob is permanently out of rage. If the dragon you are DPSing is flying in the air, go ahead and use your Exorcism to spam. Otherwise, we can't do any damage. Doing some damage is always better than doing no damage. That is the only time. If you are in melee range and casting Exorcism, go ahead and stab yourself in the face. I'm only kidding. Don't do that. I never endorse stabbing oneself in the face. It can lead to long-term injury. Boo! Long Arm of the Law. Yeah, baby. I've got the Long Arm of the Law right here. Oh, crash joke. Nice. Your Judgment has a 100% chance to increase your movement speed by 45% for 4 seconds when used on targets that are further than 15 yards from you. Are you chasing a mob? The tank keeps jumping around like a moron. Your Judgment is just going to let you catch up that much nicely. A little bit of a PvP talent, but also useful in PvE for the same reason that Pursuit of Justice is. Getting there faster means more damage. Divine Storm, why is this a talent? I have no idea. Please bring on the Mists of Pandaria talent tree. Having to spec for your AoE spell is retarded, Blizzard. Thank you very much. An instant attack that causes 100% weapon damage to all enemies within 8 yards. The Divine Storm heals up to 3 party members for totaling 25% of the damage caused. And will grant a charge of holy power if it hits 4 or more targets. Pay attention to that last line. Why it is the last line, I have no idea. It should be the first. It should say in big red letters. If you are not DPSing 4 or more targets, do not use Divine Storm. You will not get holy power. Don't do it. 4 or more targets only. There it is. Sacred Shield. When reduced below 30% health, you gain a Sacred Shield effect. Sacred Shield absorbs 24,000 damage and increased healing received by 20%. Fair enough, we don't have to do anything with it. We will just get it. Fine. Sanctity of Battle. Haste effects. We've talked about that. Seals of Command. We are going to do some seal twisting. We have 2 main seals. Seal of Truth. Seal of Righteousness. Your Seal of Righteousness, Seal of Truth, and Seal of Justice now also deal 7% weapon damage when triggered. In addition, this is the important line. Blizzard should rearrange these paragraphs because we want to know this important stuff first. In addition, your Seal of Righteousness now hits all enemy targets within melee range. When we are starting to use Divine Storm, we are also going to switch to Seal of Righteousness. Have it keybound, my friends, because we need to switch between Seal of Righteousness and Seal of Truth regularly. You see, it's changing there. You need them keybound. Okay, guys, so 4 or more targets, go ahead and switch up to your Seal of Righteousness and start doing some AoE damage around it. If it is less than 4 targets, your Seal of Truth single target DPS will do more than you casting Divine Storm, and you won't generate Holy Power. Don't do it. Sanctified Wrath. Increase the crit chance of your Hammer of Wrath by another 60%. Yeah, boy. Reduces the cooldown of Avenging Wrath by 60 seconds and allows the use of Hammer of Wrath at all times during Avenging Wrath. Nice. Nice bit of burst damage. And you're going to find Ret Paladins are very bursty. Very, very bursty. Repentance, our CC. Nothing more to say there, it's just a ranged CC. Use it if you get asked for CC. Go and be a baller and repentance it away. People always ignore Ret Paladins as CC source. We have repentance, it's good. Use it. Divine Purpose. The following attacks have a 15% chance to cause your next Holy Power ability to consume no Holy Power. And to cast as if you had 3 Holy Powers. Nice. Look how many spells are in that list, Blizzard. Look how many spells there are. It's too many. Sort it out. You should not need a box that big to explain which spells you should be using as a Ret Paladin. A new player is going to look at that and go, I should be using Judgment, Exorcism, Templar's Verdict, Divine Storm, Inquisition, Holy Wrath, and Hammer of Wrath. And then they're going to say, what order should I use them in? Because according to that order, I should use Judgment first, Exorcism first, Templar's Verdict first, Divine Storm last, what? Where's Crusader Strike? Should I not use Crusader Strike? Think about your new players, Blizzard, because that is bullshit. Inquiry of Faith. An Inquiry of Faith? Is that like looking inside your soul? I don't know. Increase the periodic damage done of your Seal of Truth by 30% and the duration of your Inquisition by 200%. What is Inquisition? You ask. Inquisition is, I like to call it Battle Shout, because I love warriors, and basically it's Battle Shout. Or old Battle Shout, should I say. Not new Battle Shout. Old Wrath of the Lich King and pre-Battle Shout. Consumes all the Holy Power to increase your holy damage by 30%. 30% lasts 12 seconds per charge of Holy Power consumed, so we want to be casting that at 3 stacks ideally. But we also need to keep Inquisition up 100% of the time, really. We want to be aiming for 100%, my friends. We want as much Inquisition as we can get, and increasing that duration by 200% is glorious, because the less Holy Power we have to spend on Inquisition, the more we spend on Templar's Verdicts, and Templar's Verdicts smash people in the face. Yeah. Our final big talent, Zealotry. Your Crusader Strike generates 3 charges of Holy Power per strike for the next 20 seconds, requires 3 Holy Power to use, but does not consume Holy Power. So, our Crusader Strikes are going to give us 3 Holy Power, and then per strike, you need 3 Holy Power to kick it off, but it does not consume Holy Power. So it's a great DPS cooldown, very bursty. We're going to be spamming our Templar's Verdict during that time. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about Zealotry again shortly. Seals of the Pure, a flat damage buff to your Seal of Truth and Seal of Righteousness. Judgments of the Pure, we get a nice haste buff. We were talking before how haste is important. It is important to get our Crusader Strike down. Yeah. Arbiter of the Light, increase the crit chance of your Judgment and Templar's Verdicts by 12%. See, crit is not that important, guys. I just don't rate it compared to haste. I really don't. Blazing Light, increase the damage of your Holy Shock and Exorcism by 20%. Obviously, we want it for Exorcism. Yay! Good stuff. Okay. What spells are we going to be casting? I know this is a long one, guys, but bear with me. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to make sure you have a wonderful experience listening to my voice. So, what are we going to be casting? What is this damn mod down here? I've seen people play with it. Preach, they must be noobs. They must be noobs. They are absolutely not noobs under any circumstances. Ret Paladins have a lot of spells, my friends. As such, you should use this add-on. This add-on will make your life happy and enjoy it. It's called CLC Ret. There it is. CLC Ret. CLC Ret will tell you, as best as the mod can, what spell you should cast next to maximise 1. Your generation of Holy Power, 2. How much Inquisition you have, and what to do when you have all these procs firing off at once. When we have things like Art of War, Exorcism, when we have Zealotry up and we have 3 Holy Power coming out of our backside. It is important, my friends. It is. Get it. Don't feel like a noob, because without it, you're just going to make your life hell, and you are going to be staring at your buttons. Don't stare at your buttons, stare at this area here. This will keep you alive and make you do more damage. Don't stare here. Just get this. You can see it's nicely placed between here for me. This is the button you should be pressing now, or as soon as possible. That is the one you should be pressing next. This will change. It's not always accurate because procs happen. Things change. So use your knowledge. Just follow this as a guide. Following this mod as a simple guide and not as the truth be told. Don't say I did maximum DPS because I followed everything the button said. That is not always the case, because it will not take into account things like AoEing and last minute procs. Pay attention to your screen. You should be looking here. Have the mod somewhere where you can see it without having to stare at it. It's nicely near my health bars and the center of the screen. Very easy. Do not put it in the middle of your screen. Don't do it, but download CLC Ret. It is good. If you're new, if you've just hit level 85, my friends, drop down the CLC Ret tab here. Go to this bit, rotation. This can all be edited. I suggest you don't do it immediately until you get more comfortable with the add-on, because things change due to set bonuses and all that good stuff. If you have got no set bonuses like myself and you've just hit level 85, just leave it alone. I would suggest you bump up your time before refresh. This means on Inquisition, when should it tell you to do Inquisition? I would bump that up to 5 seconds. Okay guys, 5 seconds should carry you over. If you're in lower gear, it takes longer for you to get back to 3 holy power, providing you haven't had an emergency proc, in which case, lucky, happy days. If not, bump that up to 5 seconds. Make it happy for yourself. 5 seconds means, boom, you should have enough time to keep Inquisition up as much as humanly possible. Okay? Good stuff. Okay. So, last thing I want to talk about, my friends, my ballers, is macros. A couple of macros here that I think are vital for the Ret Paladin. I really do. This one, this is my blow my load all over the mob's face, and you are going to do serious damage when you do it. It's casting Avenging Wrath, it's casting Zealotry, it is using your DPS trinkets all at the same time. Yes, my friends, it is the ultimate macro of Ponage. I will put it in the comments below. I have an unused trinket, so it all works well. One thing to note is Zealotry requires 3 holy power. So just blowing this macro might not use your Zealotry. This is why I have Zealotry here, should I make a mistake, because we are human and we fuck up, guys. That happens. I have Zealotry here so I can check if my Zealotry was used. If not, I can go ahead and fire it off. Easy. We also have this macro. Use it if you wish. Don't use it if you don't wish. It's not that great. I have separate key bindings for both seals, but if you're struggling with key binding or you're new to the game, feel free and use this macro. It will rotate between Seal of Righteousness and Seal of Truth. You should have an add-on that's tracking it. As you can see, I've got Seal of Truth on. There's my add-on tracking it. Spamming this macro will rotate between the two. As you can see, Seal of Truth, Seal of Righteousness. I actually have a separate binding for Seal of Truth, so I don't need to do that. But it's there. You do need to spam the button, and it will use a lot of mana because it will try and do Seal of Righteousness very quickly. You need to spam it twice to get into Seal of Truth. Okay, guys? It's there if you need it. If you don't want it, fine. No problem. Doesn't matter too much, guys. You can click it if you wish. Preacher is not going to shout at you. Our final cooldown is Guardian the Ancient Kings, which is always good when we get our good friend up. Guardian the Ancient Kings. Yeah. While active, your Guardian's attacks cause you to be infused with ancient power, increasing your strength by 1% per application. Oh, yeah. After 30 seconds or when your Guardian is killed, you release Ancient Fury, causing more damage. Ooh. It's good stuff, guys. Nice big fat buff. So we want to be using our Guardian Ancient Kings along with Avenging Wrath and along with Zealotry. That is where we're going to get our great DPS from. Be aware in mind, why have I not macroed them in? Because Guardian Ancient Kings is a 5-minute cooldown, I believe. Just offhand, I'm pretty sure it's 5 minutes. Yeah, 5-minute cooldown. And Avenging Wrath and Zealotry are exactly 2 minutes. That's why you can use them together. Okay, guys? That is it. I'm going to jump in Heroic now and hopefully have some fun. And then I'm going to carry on writing our script. Bye-bye.